how well do you think that they could take this into the rest of the season and then potentially into the playoffs?
I mean, I like what the Knicks are doing, right? The Knicks have gone away from trying to get marquee players and kind of dwelling on it and complaining about Tom Thibodeau and complaining about the defensive aspect about it and giving the wrong players minutes. And they're focalizing in their young core and their young talent. Obviously, you got Jalen at the 1, Julius Randle at the 4, Mitchell Robinson's healthy at the 5 finally. Then you go and you have RJ Barrett, who has been up and down this season in terms of efficiency, between his inefficiency to shoot behind the 3-point line, his field goal percentage. We know that he's a pretty good lockdown defender, but offensively, his game is still developing. They're giving time to, I believe, Jericho Sims. They're giving time to Grimes. Derrick Rose isn't really getting a lot of burn because they are committing to giving their younger players more experience. They traded for Josh Hart, got rid of Cam Reddish. I mean, the Knicks are making the right moves, and they're giving the right players the appropriate attention that's necessary. Julius Randle has some games here and again where he's putting up some bad shots and where he's a little overconfident. But again, in most of those cases, New York never had a true definitive point guard. Jalen Brunson has come into the mix, bought into Tom Thibodeau's system, and has uplifted his game now that he is not splitting shots with Luka Doncic, or should I say sharing shots with Luka, to where he is the main focal point of the offense. Yes, Julius Randle is still being consistent. Yes, other players are still contributing. Yes, Obi Toppin is still getting developed. But when you talk about what Jalen Brunson has done for the team, I mean, he's averaging 24 points per game, 6.5 assists. We're talking about 3 rebounds a game, 40% from the 3-point line, almost 50% from the field. Like, this is the player you needed to lead this team. Not Julius Randle taking the majority of the shots. Not Derrick Rose, who is well above and well beyond his prime to go and be taking minutes from younger guards. But somebody who embraces the culture of New York City, who loves everything about New York as of right now, and is doing exceptionally well at that point. I mean, Stephen A. Smith is giving him his flowers. I know that I love Jalen from, him being a Maverick. I'll always be salty that he left and didn't give us a meeting, but for him to go into New York, embrace the doubt, hate, the culture, or whatever the New York fans gave him for saying that he was a big waste of money, for him to make them eat their words, it's making me happy. And if the Knicks can continue the pace that they're on, and obviously muster up a couple more big wins, I would say that they can continue to climb in this Eastern Conference. Maybe not to the top 2, top 3 seeds, but I can see them as a consistent 4 or 5 seed. I mean, obviously at this point, the only difference in the playoffs between the 4 and the 5 is who gets home court in the first round. But if the Knicks can have a home field advantage, a home court advantage in a postseason series, I think that does this organization wonders. So for the Knicks to turn it around from where they were last year to where they are this year by just simply adding Jalen Brunson and flipping a couple pieces, I think that this is a huge step up. And I know that the city personally, from fans and family that are ecstatic, this is just an incredible win for New York as a whole.
Yeah, and it's just what comes with the territory of being a Knicks fan, or just being in that realm, is that the Knicks are kind of always known to be a subpar team. And the last couple of years, they have been relatively better than what their recent history has been. And when you look at this 7-game win streak that they've been on, Kev, they've beaten some good teams along the way. They've beaten teams like the Wizards. They've beaten teams like the Celtics. They've beaten teams like the Nets. Granted, the Nets have had this entire roster shake up when Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving got traded. But this is a pretty impressive win streak. And the one thing that I want to take away from this Knicks win streak is that you're getting different performances, like top tier performances, from multiple players. It's not just Jalen Brunson going out there and scoring 35, 40 points a night. You're getting good contributions across the board. There could be games where you see Jalen Brunson get 25, 30 points. And then you could have a game where Julius Randle pops off for 35 to 40. Granted, it's a little bit more rare, but he is capable of that. And in this win streak, he had one game where I believe he dropped 46 points, which is quite impressive. He was 4 points away from a 50-point performance. And then, to me, I think one of the unsung heroes from the Knicks, not only in this win streak that they've been on, but to the season for a larger extent, is Immanuel Quickley. Immanuel Quickley is getting about 25 to 30 minutes a game, but he's getting good contributions to the team as a whole. And he could get you 15 to 20 points in that role that the Knicks and Tom Thibodeau have him in. When it comes to the Knicks, they're right on the edge of being a top tier team in the Eastern Conference. And you could say with the way that they've been playing the last couple of weeks that they are trending in that direction. I think for me, the next couple games are going to be crucial for them. I believe they have to play the Celtics again, and the Celtics are not only one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, they're one of the best teams in the NBA this year. And then I believe they play the Kings about a week or so from now. And the Kings have been one of the surprise teams that we've seen in the NBA this year, with the Kings being a top 3 team in the Western Conference when nobody was really expecting that from Sacramento. But the fact of the matter is when I look at the Knicks from top to bottom, they have a good core of guys to roll with. And it seems as if this infusion of youth that Kevin was talking about is more prominent than some of the older players that they've had in the roster. I mean, granted, they have some veterans on this team like Derrick Rose. You could even say that Julius Randle is a vet, even though that he's relatively younger than Derrick Rose. But it's guys like Jalen Brunson, Emmanuel Quickly. Those guys are stepping up in huge contributions. You could also throw Mitchell Robinson as well. These guys are going to have to perform consistently throughout the rest of the regular season if they're going to vie for a top 4 spot in the Eastern Conference. And it's right there for them. They're only a couple games back of the Cavs for that 4th spot. And if they're able to beat these top tier teams for the rest of the year consistently, we'll see where it could take them. I agree with Kev. I don't think that they're going to make a 2 or 3 seed in the Eastern Conference simply just because I think teams like the Celtics and the 76ers are a little bit better than them, even though that the Knicks have shown that they could be a really good team against the Celtics, and they've proven that they can beat a team like the Celtics this year. It'd be kind of interesting to see how, if it were to play out, the Knicks and the Celtics were to go face-to-face in a playoff series, that would actually be quite interesting as far as I see it. But the Knicks are turning in the right direction. Tom Thibodeau seems to be the right guy for the job at this current moment in time. And we'll see what happens from here on out. The Knicks are, like I said, they're trending in the right direction. I imagine the city is probably thrilled about the success that they've had recently. Now they just have to finish the season strong, and hopefully that momentum carries them well into the playoffs. I'll just kind of leave it at that.